Example, is cash and carry in the routes? Is that something where you can sell that, kind of take care of that customer by selling them into a cash and carry type of a thing?
You cannot through Pepper's Farm do cash and carry. There's a couple accounts where they just what they have is because Campbell's, we're owned by Campbell Soup, and they have some, what do you call it, like the food side. So like Food Service America and all that, they carry goldfish too, because some people like them on their salads and all that. I don't know if I don't think they have our cookies, but they might. But either way, so I believe those type of stores fall under the food service side.
Gotcha. That makes sense. But you're selling off some stuff. Renting a house now and going to buy. Obviously, listening to all the trail talk that you've been doing on the podcast, are you looking to be, what are those called, trail angels? Are you buying somewhere around there?
Yeah, I have a dream. My wife's not 100% on board with that dream. We've always wanted to live in Stanwood.
Yeah.
We really like the community out there. It still has a little bit of a small town feel. You can still get some property out there and not be right next to your neighbor, which we've only done, which is fine. That's where we happen to live now. But out there, there's a couple houses in Anacortes I've been looking at, and they're right along the Pacific Northwest Trail, which runs from Glacier National Park out to our Olympic Coast. So it goes right through Skagit County and Anacortes and goes out Deception Pass and takes a ferry over to Port Townsend. Well, the trail walks right down this road on the backside of Lake Campbell, or is it Lake Erie? Lake Campbell, I believe. And then you got, because Lake Campbell's the one that's right on Highway 20.
Yeah, I've fished that one a few times.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of lures on Campbell.
Yeah. It's an awesome lake, too. It's really beautiful. But that backside, we're talking way on the other side, there's a little mini mart thing that's kind of close to that, right under Mount Erie, the cliffs of Mount Erie there. And you take this little road, and it's just this one, I think there's maybe 20 houses down there. They're all sitting on like 5 acres. And that's part of the trail, that road. And then it leaves up from there to this mine on this trail. And so I'd be living right on the trail with a barn that I don't have horses, so why not have hikers stay there?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. I like talking to hikers, so why not host them?
Turn the barn into a podcast studio with some sleeping quarters.
Yeah.
You'd have some
put some cots in there. And,
I love it.
Yeah. Even drunk guys like you can come over.
I would do that. That's one way to get me on the trail. The best part, I do want to hike more. I haven't hiked at all, and I've told Jody. In fact, I didn't show you that already, but kind of made a dream board, and about half of my goals involved podcasting. But another one was I want to summit 3 mountains this year. I mean,
doesn't have to be a big mountain.
It can be Pilchuck, where you start halfway up the mountain anyway. But I haven't. Last time I was on the top of Pilchuck, I was in high school, and that's 20-something years ago. So, and I do a lot of hiking when I've gone hunting, but I didn't get to go hunting at all this year either. So that's the one thing is I want to get 3 pictures from the top of a mountain this year, and 3's doable because Jody doesn't want me to take the kids on any of these things yet, so they're pretty little.
They're pretty young, yeah.
But that's something I figure I can find 3 weekends to get out there.
Well, people often ask me in the area here, I have online following, and so I get a lot of questions like, well, what's your favorite hike? And I always tell people, and it's rooted in some of your family area with Darrington, because I know your wife's from out there, and it's Green Mountain. And that's by far, check it off the list, best hike, one of the best hikes around.
Okay. I've been to Green Mountain and driven halfway up it to shoot.
It's a different Green Mountain.
Okay.
So if you're in Darrington and you head north on 530, heading out towards Rockport. Yeah, so there's a right-hand turn.
Right for the baseball fields there?
No, it's over the bridge. So you cross the Sauk, and it's right over the bridge. There's a turn. And you take that turn like 19 miles, and then you go up a hill like another 4 or 5 miles. So it's deep on this dirt road. But you get up there, and you get to the top of this mountain, and it's amazing. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
Awesome.
It's hard to explain on a podcast, but
yeah.
I mean, Mount Pilchuck's pretty obvious, but the other one up near here would be Mount Dickerman. And both Dickerman and Green Mountain are both, thigh burners or whatever, they're
so they got some steeps.
Yeah, but Yeah, man. Those are the 3 I'd recommend.
I like the burn. So that's one of the things. I haven't been to the gym. January is always gym season, but that's something that I always like. If I'm not pushing myself, it wasn't worth it. If I'm not sore, it was a wasted trip type of thing. And haven't been able to get into the gym. I've had to put the account on hold just because the time permitting. All of the winter time, the work has been too crazy. So that's one of the things where now instead of going to the gym, I've been hitting these 5-mile runs and doing whatever. But that's just it. Is the burn is the part that I love. Like my run from here is heading down to the bottom of Glen Eagle and then running back, and that is.
You get some up. You get some down and some up, and yeah.
It's all downhill until you got to turn around and come back up, and it's all uphill. And so far, I've made it 3/4 of the way up the hill before I'm stopping and going, sucking the wind. But no, that's the burn makes it worth it. So that's awesome. Those are the 3 I'm checking off my list. I can't wait for. What's the snow like? Are those ready to go?
No, those 3 you can only go in the midsummer.
Midsummer,
yeah. You have a year-round trail up in the Chuckanuts Oyster Dome. Mm-hmm. And that's very doable year-round.
The one you talked about this last, it was on one of your podcasts, I don't know, October, November time, where you went off trail and found the lava tubes.
Oh, yeah.
That one looks like, that sounds like, just hearing about it, you get this picture in your mind, and now I want to go see that, get that picture like fulfilled.
Yeah, I mean, it was a popular trail by Yakima. And it was by chance. Sometimes people that go on these hikes, a lot of times, because this one was it wasn't paved, but a wheelchair could have gone. Yeah. And those type of hikes, often you'll bring the families, and so you got kids screaming and all this stuff. A lot of times you miss some of the stuff like what you might hear, what you might kind of see if you're not looking down at your kids and making sure they're not tripping over their feet. I just happen to hear all these people back over in this one area. Like the trail obviously went this way right to this cave. I mean, we're staring at the cave. Okay, well, here's where we planned on going to this cave, and here's the entrance. But what are these people doing over here? There's no trail over there. And I hear them kind of laughing and having fun. But I could tell it wasn't like a party. And I was like, you know what? We have to go. And I told my wife, I said, if you don't want to go, then you can just wait here. And I made my kids go. And, we go up there, and there's this pool of water. And it kind of reminded me of something out of, I don't know if you've seen the movie The Island.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of something like that, but on a lower scale. But we were in this cave, and there was a waterfall coming down into this pool of water. It almost looked like it was built, but it wasn't. It was all natural, and it looked like a hot springs, but it wasn't. It was cold water, very cold water. But, it was inside this cave. It was this pool of water. It was so cool. I've never seen anything like that in Washington State. I mean, other than like you go in a mine, there's going to be some water on the ground or something. But this was like it was a lava tube, and it was all part of that. But, it was crazy, man. If you don't have your ears open, you're not going to hear anything.
Yeah.
I say there's a reason why we have one mouth and two ears.
Not me. One mouth and it's very active. No, that's... Hearing you describe that was instant. I think that's the one that kind of planted the bug, saying, "Okay, I need to get out there more." I do a lot of runs, and I do a lot of organized 3K, 5Ks, 10K. I'm doing my first 10K.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's nowhere near the Ironman stuff that Latham was talking about. But
well, see, it's funny to me because now I get. Because I'm a hiker.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely not a runner. You can tell by looking at me I don't run. But the thing that gets me is people say, oh, well, I've done a 10K or I've done a 5K. And like that's a weekend for me, But I'm not running, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, so the longest I've done on a trail was 22 miles in one day. So I haven't quite gotten that marathon
That's
yet.
almost a marathon.
But it's like, hey, what, at what point do you not say it was a marathon,
Yeah. I don't know. I can't even remember what the deal was called. The last time I did an overnight hike I was in high school, but went up with my dad, my uncle, my cousin. It was the trailhead at Stevens Pass, like across the street from the mountain.
Yeah,
and went up and hit. I think it's the first lake you come to.
Yeah, it was like 5 miles in. Yeah, Valhalla. Yeah.
And that's we had a great time fishing and doing that stuff, and it rained, poured on us the entire time we were there. And I remember, I think it was our third night, and we were getting ready to boil water for dinner again, for an MRE, basically, is what or trail food that we brought up there. And I remember the dads coming up to us and saying, "Oh, do you guys want to do rehydrated potatoes, or you want to do Zeke's?" And that was
on the way. Yeah.
Okay, let's go get a burger.
Milkshake too. Yeah. I'm always one for a milkshake.
Yeah.
There's a couple breweries up there now too. That's always up my cup of tea. I guess mug of
brew.
But and then that's where too. Like I hope friends reach out to me when they ask about hikes, because why not? Hey, if we're friends on social media, send me a message and ask me, because I would rather you hear from me, because Lake Valhalla. Obviously, this is a long time ago, right? But
yeah.
Lake Valhalla, there's a place right there. It's called Union Gap, and you can drive right up to the trail, and Valhalla is a mile from there. And a lot of people don't know that. If you don't know hiking, you look on the trail, hey, we can start at Stevens Pass and go 5 miles to this awesome lake. Yeah, but there's another trailhead where it's only a mile. I think it's a mile and a half, 2 miles or something, but it's like way shorter, and it's even just a more pretty hike. That hike from Stevens Pass is all in the trees and the woods, and then
through a logging road.
Yeah, there's no starts out of the old logging road.
Most of it is literally tire track. Well, it was 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah, it's still some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're literally walking on a road that you're not seeing anything but the canopy.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so. Reach out if you know somebody that hikes, because there's a lot of people out there like me that hike all the time, and have probably done a lot of the hikes maybe you're looking into, and like that one I described with the pool of water. If somebody's ever going on a hike, tell me. I might be able to tell you. Like, here's a perfect example: is everybody knows about Monte Cristo. I love going up there as a kid. We went up there. It's 4.5 miles to the town on an old dirt road. It's very boring, and it's an old, and it was an old railroad too, right? So there's sections. There's like 1 mile of just straight dirt road, and you can see way over there. And there's like 2 or 3 sections like that where it's like, okay, we're going way over there, and then you finally get there, and it's like, okay, here's a turn, and then another straight.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been up there, but
I haven't.
It's horrible. It's not a hike, but you have to hike it because that's just what it is. And so you get up there. And the town side, this cool old mining town, right? Or maybe a ghost town. Or you get up there, and there's nothing there. I mean, I think there's one building, and there's nothing. There used to be an old turn, like where they used to turn the engines.
Oh yeah,
and turn them around so they
the turnstile for the railroad.
And I don't even know if that's still there, but you know what? Right in town, there's this huge waterfall, this really cool waterfall, and if you know where it is, you can just go right to it. And it's not that far from town. It's like less than probably a few hundred yards. And then also there's this huge waterfall that you can stand over. It's about a half mile out on one of the trails. And I always tell people, if you're going, I know it's a little bit extra push, but go check out that waterfall. It's only a half mile out of town, because it'll make the trip worth it. Otherwise, you're not gonna find any gold up there.
Otherwise, you spent all those hours walking in a straight line seeing nothing interesting. Get something to write home about.
Yeah.
I saw you post today some books that you got for some upcoming stuff, and one of them was hot springs, and that's something that I've always wanted. I didn't realize we had any around here. What are there for hot springs?
Well, a lot of the hot springs that you can get to that are close to anything populated, they get really overrun, and there's one of the more popular ones that's actually it's hard to get to, so it's not necessarily overrun by somebody that can just drive their car there. It's called Goldmeyer Hot Springs, and it's up by I-90, kind of Snoqualmie Pass area. And you have to get a permit to go there, which is fine to me. It's like, hey, if you want to go, then that's good. Then it's not going to be overcrowded because you need a permit. Yeah. And that's probably the one I would recommend to somebody. Our most popular one in kind of our little area, Granite Falls, Darrington, used to be Kennedy Hot Springs. And, well, for one thing, the road washed out and they never rebuilt it. And the trail always was having problems being rebuilt as well. But finally, I think it was like the 2003, one of the storms that wiped out a bunch of stuff, it completely wiped the hot springs out. Like the river, it changed and mudslides, and it's all just gone. So... yeah, but yeah, the one you're talking about though, is a guy that I've met through podcasting and the internet and stuff, and that's Aria Zoner, and he